Okay, so I found pictures of my least favorite ex, and I'm going to use one of them as the thumbnail for this video. You can go and look at it there. They're buried on a laptop, and it's hard for me to pull them off or whatever. I'll figure out how to do that eventually. But she was hot. This is the girl I dated in college for quite a while, actually. We met on a camping trip. Uh, we went to the Kiowa Blacklegging Society um, dance, I guess, meeting, whatever you want to call it. And it's a lot of things, but there was a big camp out there of a whole bunch of people, and we stayed in a real teepee. And it was supposed to be a school trip with a whole bunch of people with a professor, and it ended up being her, me, and a professor. And the professor took one TP, and we took the other one. So we got friendly, and she was cute, cute as fucking Asian and hot. I thought, in my opinion, like, and on top of all of this, she kind of spoke broken English, and most people there didn't understand her at all, and I understood her perfectly fine. So I was her new best friend, and we hit it off. Like, we were running that whole place together. Like, she slept in my sleeping bag the entire time we were there. Like, we got pretty chummy. We got chummy enough that we kept seeing each other once we got back to school and life and whatever. And she didn't have a car, and I did. And the reason she didn't have a car was because her BMW got impounded off of the boat from China. And it was at this point that I was like, huh? And I did the math. I'm like, holy shit, she's fucking loaded. Like, there was a moment there, where I was like, holy shit, she's loaded. I was already in love with the bitch. Like, she could have been penniless as far as I was concerned. Like, I think that was one of the things that she really liked about me was I liked her for her, and I have skills. Let's just put it that way, boys. Anyway, um, she was fun to hang out with and fun to be with, and interested in all the same stuff as me for various reasons. And then I get to know her more and more. We go fishing. I help her catch a fish. It's the world's smallest fish. It's a fish. Like, I did everything right. Went to take her to dinners, went and took her to buy tampons. I put a lot of effort into this bitch. And I meet her parents. And what she didn't tell me was that her mother was a Chinese senator, basically. I don't know exactly what that is. I don't even remember her name offhand. I remember her last name, so I could probably figure that out pretty easy, but I'm not going to say any of that shit. But her and her husband got off of the plane in the place that I went to college, and I was, you know, going to be meeting them, and they took a look at me and they said that I was a guaylo and that their daughter shouldn't be dating me. And she broke up with me the next day, basically. Like, she didn't break up with me right then and there. It was a little, I don't know what's going on. Like, if that relationship had blossomed, oh my fucking god, I would be a spy right now because I would be there, and I'm me. I'm already kind of a spy. I listen, I gather, whatever. If I was doing that in a household that included a Chinese senator, God, that would have been awesome. And that right there is probably why mom didn't like me. Anyway, various other reasons why mom probably didn't like me. She probably never would have seen her daughter again. That's what I represented. I did eventually get to ride in her Mercedes, and that was nice. I forget what model it was. It was a brand new. I don't know if I should say the year. That might date me. It was a brand new 2012. I think it was 2012. Might have been 2011. Either way, it was brand new and Mercedes, and it was nice. It was black. Like I'm not really a car person. The funniest part about her was her discussing her car woes. It was, I keep thinking I just should go buy one. You want to go buy a car? Like that was the conversation that we had all the time. Like you can't just go buy a car. What would you want to buy? She's like, um, BMW maybe, Mercedes maybe. I don't know. The one I have now is a Mercedes. Like, I don't know how I like it. Like, okay. I was driving my FJ at the time, which was a very nice car, and it was brand new. So, like, that was a part of this. Was at this particular time, my life was going particularly swimmingly because of investments that I had made, because of shit that was happening in my life, because of shit that was happening in my mother's life. Like, I was in college. Like, there's a lot going on. And like part of the mother's life thing was when she met my mother was living in a 6,000 square foot house at the time. And it's because basically she got really bad financial advice. And my great grandmother was living with all of us at the time. And she was like, well, I'm just going to get a really nice house. So she went and did. And that was nice and whatever. And while I was in college, I stayed there, especially with my great grandmother and my grandmother staying there. They both needed help and stuff, and I was in school, and I had entirely too many guns to get a dorm room. So there's that. But she was fun. I got to kill all of the bugs inside of the teepee. Like they were moths, but like before the moths were killed, nothing else could happen. So like when the Chinese are all talking smack about Americans being lazy and whatever, know that their children that they send here for college will literally trade killing moths for sex. Not that I did that, but she totally would have. Okay, I kind of did do that. I killed the moths, and then like she was just like so inspired that like I don't know. I wasn't even being creepy or lecherous or anything. Like they stuck us in there together, and I made some place to sleep and curled up for the night, and suddenly realized that I wasn't alone. Like it was like about 15 or 20 minutes in or something like that. I felt something warm, and then I felt very small hands. She's adorable. when you speak broken English, apparently that's the best way to say you like somebody. At least to go for it, I guess. And honestly, the thought had crossed my mind, but I was all like, language barrier, don't be a creep, yada yada yada. And then she slid into my sleeping bag naked. So sometimes your vibes are 100% on, I guess. It still cracks me up to this day that her mother was a Chinese senator of some sort, and like I saw pictures of her mother in a Chinese military uniform from the 50s. It was like something that she wore for some patriotic day or something, and then I saw her in her actual military uniform and was like, okay, well that's cool. That's what you'll encounter if you go to school for anthropology. Um, Basically, it's all hippie chicks and guys that really like mushrooms. Maybe there's a big substantial portion, but like anthropology, at least everywhere that I've ever been, is a majority female field, and they're all hippie chicks, and they're all cool, and I like cultures and archaeology and everything. I like the whole thing of it. So I was always kind of drawn to that, and the women that I was ever interested in sexually were pretty much lesbian hippie chick anthropologists. It was a target rich environment. The super cutie Asian girl just kind of came out of nowhere. Best part is she and I were like the only two members of the school's Native Americans club thing. It's called ASA. They put on a powwow and like their activities group on campus. We did like a game night thing where I forget exactly what the game was, but it's like a dice game, but it's played with bones. It's about how the bones fall. It's very cool. I'll have to get the rules to that, and we'll do a video on that. That's like one of those things that, like, when I saw that, I'm like, holy shit, this is where dice came from. Like, literally roll the bones or whatever. Like, they're playing the original fucking game. And that's pretty badass. I'll have to go look that up and look up the details of that again and find out exactly what the rules are of that again. And I'll make a video on that at some point. But if you're interested in that and you don't see it, ask for it or something because I will forget about that more than likely. But we did a lot of interesting things, and I feel kind of bad for her. Like, I kind of think she was a little bit in love with me, and I think basically she's my least favorite ex because she left me because of her racist parents. But at the same time, like, I kind of feel bad for her because the reason that I think she liked me so much was because I represented a true escape from their entire world. And like, I don't know how much she really wanted that, but she didn't like communism. Like, that was one of the most interesting things I thought about her was if she was studying here in the States and had various opinions about politics and whatever, and none of them were particularly pro-communist. And I wonder how she gets along in China. Probably not very well. Her name in Mandarin was Xian, Her English name was April, which I think is funny. She had two names. She told me that that was because English people couldn't pronounce her name correctly. And her name is spelled Xian, like the town, apparently. And it's Xian. I actually know how to speak a few words in Chinese and understand more than I speak as a result of her. That happens when you spend a few months hanging a bitch. Oh, well, that's the story about her. I figured since I found the pictures and I could have a picture of her face for this story, way to do this. But tell me what you think. Hot or not? I'll try to find like the picture that shows the most of her because I have a few pictures to choose from. I might get the one that shows the most of her face and body together in one shot. So we'll see how that goes. See you guys.